my podcast people, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode of my favorite podcast. Right off the bat, it is hot in here. Hot in here, Nelly style, hot in her. I close the window so I can record. I also put the heater on before I record so that it heats up the room. One of the things that happens is sound will travel faster in heat, but it travels farther in the cold. So I tend to get more bouncing of the sound around when the room is cold. So I heat it up and it definitely makes it less echoey. But fuck, it's hot. If you're watching the video, you see I got like a rosy little cheeks here because it's hot. This is also the second episode. You know, we're on that batching life. I just finished the one before it. So we get a little outfit change, second episode. I'm telling you all my secrets. But today we were talking about the fact that many of us use that phrase, oh, it'll slow down next week. Things will slow down next week. And then I'll do X. And we know, you and I both know, we all know, it's not true. Life never slows down. That is what we are talking about today. The fact that life never slows down. There's a meme that goes around. It circulates and we all laugh. And I think we're crying on the inside because it's true. But the meme says, adulthood is saying, but after this week, things will slow down a bit over and over until you die. It's the truth. No lies here. No lies detected. Last week I hosted the second live event for this current round of Legacy. Legacy is the 6-month online group coaching program that Jill Fit and I run, my business bestie and my life bestie, Jill Fit. We run for intermediate plus online biz owners. Our promise is you will have your biggest launch if you do Legacy. But the main focus, and one of the things that you will walk away from Legacy with, is a significant reduction in the uncertainty of online business. Right? Online business does not have to be uncertain at all. And we will teach you the strategies and the systems and make things a bit more formulaic so you are not just guessing. And by no means should you ever be crying in your business and just living that stressed out life. So we were going to launch, we'll launch that again. That's a little soft plug, I guess, for Legacy. We're going to launch it again, round 4, this October 2023. If you want to put your name on the interest list, you'll be the first to hear about it. We do limit the spots, but it's not based on first come, first serve or anything like that. We do applications. So if you want to be the first to hear about it, link is in the show notes and you can add your name to the interest list there. But we had the live event, the second live event this past week, and Jill Fit and I are very similar in that we're always focused on simply completing the immediate task, the task at hand, and then it's on to the next thing. I am never one to be worried about a presentation or whatever that I have 3 months from now. I will worry about that 3 days before that presentation. If that's not how you live your life, that's totally fine. This episode is not about trying to get you to change how far in advance you prepare for things. This episode is about the fact that event is done, and now I am back to my regularly scheduled programming, which is still busy, right? So if I was to be like, oh, well, I'll do all those things, like I just got to get through the Legacy Live event, and then I'll have time. No. The first part of that statement of like, I just got to get through the Legacy Live event, yes, that is how I approach it. I just got to get through that. That's my focus, and then I can worry about other things. But I would be lying to myself if I said, I just got to get through that event, and then things will calm down. Not at all. I am literally back to doing everything. The day after it, I was back to doing everything. And honestly, during Legacy, I was still doing a lot of things and, posting and showing up on social and things like that. The thing to consider here is that the event no longer takes up mental space, which is maybe what people are thinking about. Like, oh, okay, well, the thing's done and now I have that real estate back. But it just goes back and something else fills it in, right? There's always something that will fill it in. I can say with full certainty that all of us have said at some point, maybe you're still saying this, I'll do X when things slow down. The reality, again, life never slows down, at least not of its own accord. Right? It needs an intervention from you. You finish one thing and the next thing pops up, especially if you all have kids. Like, life never slows down. So the point of today's episode is that I want to address that phrase, the phrase that we all say to ourselves. I'll put myself in there because it's something that I used to say a lot more, and now I don't. But I will put myself in there. I want to address the phrase that we say to ourselves and perhaps give some tough love if you, listening to this, are wanting a change, but you continue to be waiting for things to slow down. Remember, life never slows down, at least not on its own. You will never find the time that you're looking for. you have to steal it from something else. Y'all know I am all about time management and batching. I love that stuff. Maybe I'll bring back another episode. I put a little poll out on Instagram about, not a poll, question box on Instagram. What do you want to hear more of? And someone wrote about that. That they're like, I love when you talk about time management, batching, things like that. I love it. I've done a few. So maybe you can drop those, Courtney. There's at least 2 that I've done. But maybe I'll bring up another one when I'm bored. But I love time management. I love batching. I love talking about time management and organizing one's schedule. And something that I teach my clients to do is this idea of creating a would be nice to get to at some point list. I know that's a long title. It is what it is. Would be nice to get to at some point lists. In general, most people's to-do lists are just too damn long. This is especially the case, or particularly the case, if you beat yourself up about not completing all the tasks in the list. I did an episode, I'm certain, and I'll probably just make another one, but I did an episode where I talked about this. Your best bet, you got to make your list shorter and put things on there that you know you can get done. That's it. And then it's done, and you go on to the next day. The would be nice to get to at some point list. The would be nice to get to at some point list is very helpful in general for tasks, but most specifically for this episode, for business tasks that will not move the needle right now. If you want to extrapolate this or expand this to life, and it's life tasks that are not going to move the needle right now. The goal of creating this list is simply to stop giving these tasks mental energy and then handle them when they actually need to be handled, which may be never. But when you put these things on a list, right, you take it out of your brain, you put it over here. I have it on my whiteboard. You can't see it, but I have a huge whiteboard over there. And I have a list of things that's like, that'd be nice to do at some point. If it doesn't get done, it's okay because they're not actually moving the needle. But when I put them on that whiteboard over there, when I put it on this little mental list, or you can actually be like an actual list that you've written out, when I put these tasks on that would be nice to get to at some point list, it gives these things time so that the circumstances around them can change, right? This task, as it relates to its importance right now, it can be very different than its importance in 1 year. And it can stay on that. It's probably been on that board over there for a year. For all I know, honestly, I haven't erased that part of the board. Right? Giving it that time can allow the quote unquote pressure to build such that it actually then makes sense to take care of it. And you actually want to take care of it, right? That increased pressure and the circumstances changing can bring with it an increased desire to actually do the thing, because you're like, this is actually going to help my business now. Or this actually makes sense to do this. Right? You may also, during that time, gain a new way of dealing with it. Maybe you have it's a year later now, you have more money in the business, you are more comfortable with outsourcing, and maybe you just hire someone, right? So maybe you have financial means, or you just aren't holding this thing so tight, and you're like, you know what, I can do that, and I can just actually pay someone to do that. I know roughly what I want it to look like, and I can just outsource it, and then it gets done. Of note, do not beat yourself up if you outsource it and it takes 15 seconds. Is there a lesson to be learned there? Maybe, but most of us, there's another meme that goes around that's like, I just completed a task in 15 minutes that I've been putting off for 4 years. I will learn nothing from this. To me, that's fine as well. We do things when we want to do them. And part of the reason I did this episode, and I'm thinking about specific clients, is that, and we're going to get to this kind of action. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold it there and I'll get into this point now. So if you have something on your list, not that would be nice to get to someday list. If you have something in your life right now that you feel like you really want to do, whether it's start exercising, change start an email list, change a website page, I don't know. Anything on your list that you're like, I actually do want to do this thing, but I keep putting it off. There are 3 things that I want you to consider. Number 1, action expresses priority. Number 2, momentum creates ease. And number 3, nothing changes if nothing changes. So what does that mean? Why did I bring these up? As you're looking at your list, right, of these things, I'll do it when it slows down, but I actually want to do this thing. All right, here's 3 things to consider. Number 1, realizing that action expresses priority. Part of the reason I did this episode is that I have plenty of clients, and it's most of the people I work with. I think it's honestly just most humans. When they want to do that thing, it gets done. I'm thinking of a client right now who's written books, and I'm like, clearly, when you want to do this thing, when it's actually a priority for you, you do it. Meanwhile, this other thing you've been dragging your feet on for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, maybe you just don't want to do it. It's not a priority to you. And that's okay. accept it or commit to it and change it. All right? You got two options there. We can look and be like, you know what? I've been talking about this thing forever. I've been dragging my feet forever. I'm not doing it. There's a good chance that you just don't care that much about it. You don't want to do it. And that's fine. Get rid of it. Throw it out. Get it out of your brain. The flip side, if you're like, no, but I really do, it's just been difficult. Okay, then we need to take action. We need to really commit to changing it. And we're going to get into that. Second point to consider, if you're like, I have this thing I want to change, but I just keep saying I'll do it when things slow down, when life slows down. Remember that momentum creates ease. That in mind, it's very easy to do what you've always done. Again, do not beat yourself up about it. You should see a kind of running theme here where acceptance is, or identifying and then accepting is like at the foundation of my approaches to things here. So don't beat yourself up for continuing to do this thing and just being like, why can't I do this thing? Because momentum creates ease. You've just been doing the same thing and it's easy to just keep going in that direction. What we need to do then is acknowledge that this thing that you want to do, it's not going to be easy. Yes, I just talked about that meme where it's like, it took me 15 minutes to do it. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it does take a long time. Sometimes there is friction associated with it, a lot of friction associated with it. Sometimes, yes, it took 15 minutes, but like it was annoying as fuck to do. All right, so I don't want you to think like, oh, it's definitely going to be easy. I'd rather you go into this with some expectation management of, okay, I do want to make this change, and guess what? It's not going to be easy. There is going to be some friction initially. It's going to require effort. It may make me uncomfortable at certain times. Right? Accept that, acknowledge that, and then flip the script on that, understanding that because momentum creates ease, this thing that is initially difficult, that initially has friction, you will gain momentum, and it too will get easier. The third and final point here is understanding and acknowledging that nothing changes if nothing changes. If you have an item on that would be nice to do list and you keep saying, I'm going to do it when life slows down, and you are like, but I actually want to do this thing. I want to do it. I want to do it. Then you got to change shit. Nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want that thing, you must change things. You're going to have to cancel something. You're going to have to move something. You're going to have to outsource something. You're going to have to do something differently. Remember, you are not going to find the time that you're looking for. Life will not slow down of its own accord. You have to steal that time from something else. All right? I'm looking at the time. Super short episode. I'm not mad about it. Some of them have been a little bit longer recently. But this was something that was top of mind and perhaps a little tough love, or maybe not tough at all. I don't know. People interpret things how they want. But it was top of mind, and y'all know that my whole shtick is doing the thing, getting things done. Action breeds clarity. And if you have that list, and if you've been, that meme, if it's you, you're like, I'll do it when life slows down. I'll do it when life slows down. Remember, life doesn't slow down. If you want the thing, you're going to have to go and get the thing. You're going to have to go and change things. You're going to have to steal time from something else. All right. I don't think I've asked in a minute, so maybe I'll ask today. If you liked it, if you loved it, if you're picking up what I am putting down, do me a solid. Drop a little review. Leave a little stars if that's easier. I'm pretty sure that is easier. I don't know what the review situation is on Spotify, because I don't listen on Spotify. I have Spotify, but I don't listen on Spotify. But if you're on Apple Podcast, if you want to do it on Spotify, thank you. That's amazing. So I don't really know what the things are looking like there. But it would be super helpful to me, and I would just be super grateful. I think maybe it helps people find the podcast. I don't really know, to be completely honest. I just like reading them. I just like knowing that you're listening and that you are enjoying the things that I'm doing, and that helps encourage me, inspire me, motivate me, a little external motivation to continue showing up and doing more. So you like that, you love that, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Do me a solid, leave me a review, drop me some stars, 5 preferably. And yeah, that's it. All right. As always, endlessly appreciative for every single one of you. Until next time, friends, Maestro out.